if we remain in the somewhat limited paradigm that we are spiritual beings encased in matter, encased in a suit, if you like, made of matter, then we are still entrapped in the belief that we are separate, separate from whatever is outside of that, yes? Whatever is outside of the suit of armor. And the reality of things is that we are not separate from anything. We are a focal point. We are, as an individuation, a focal point of perception, sensation, feeling. Yeah? This is where all the sensory organs are, internally and externally. There, yeah? All the perceptual organs are. It's a focal point for the divine. The divine is neither outside of us as something separate, nor are we an aspect of the divine trapped here, encased in something. The divine is the totality, yeah, the one field. Now we're speaking of light. Let's put it in terms of light. The one field of beingness, the lightness of being, the being of light. Yeah, the most ephemeral, refined, if you like, is light. Yeah? This is everywhere. This is everything. This is the totality, that which is prior to the manifestation of form. Yet all forms arise as a, if you like, focus point, condensation of that light. There's no separation. There's only an apparent inside and outside. The focal point, which is the aperture through which we experience reality, earthly reality, yeah, manifest reality, this focal point can be endarkened or enlightened, the actual focal point. And this is what the conversation has been about on this course, is what is it that prevents us from inhabiting the lightness of being? The lightness of being is not a philosophical idea or understanding. The lightness of being permeates all our experience. That's why it's holistic. And every aspect of our experience reflects every other aspect of our experience. In other words, the body as it appears, the manifest form, is a reflection of mind, of feeling, yeah? So we could say of thought, of emotion, of memory. It's a reflection of it. That's why it's a storehouse. It's a storehouse when, if you like, the past hasn't been brought to the light of presence. When either we are caught up or lost in thought activity, and there's no presence in the field, in the whole field, which includes sensations, feelings, and this can get very subtle. not just emotions, although that's part of it. I'm talking the direct felt sense. Yeah, we're in some ways cut off from that because we're lost in thought, or we're lost in the story, which is a narrative about the past or about the future. Yeah. Or there is an overpowering, intense emotion that we want to hide away from, to push away, to suppress, because it's something unresolved from the past. Excuse me. All of this becomes what we call the shadow. Yeah, the psychological shadow, but also the physical shadow, the accumulation of toxicity or tightness, which is not just to do with what we eat and our environment, although it has something to do with that, but it ultimately has something to do with what we are not present with, what we are not seeing, what we are not embracing. So all of this, yeah, I'm alluding to this vast energy field that really is all one. Yeah, there's no real inside or outside. There's no separation. There's no casing, although it appears that way. It's, yeah, if you see it as a kind of focus point for the divine to experience itself and point back to itself through our experience, then we start to see, or possibly see, embrace, consider that we are not trapped in the body. We are experiencing ourselves through this focus point in order to know our own divinity.